More than 1 million West Australians have been given a deadline to get jabbed if they want to keep their jobs. The Premier has announced widespread mandatory vaccination in a desperate attempt to boost the state's immunisation rate.
Victoria's mandatory vaccinations for the construction industry sparked days of riots and protests in Melbourne. Now WA's going a step further.
Today, we are giving vaccination a shot in the arm.
75% of the state's workforce given a deadline to get double jabbed or find themselves out of a job.
If you want to stay in work, go and get vaccinated.
It's obviously a panicked reaction from a government that has failed to do the hard yards to get our population vaccinated. You need to use a combination of the carrot and the stick, and today we've seen a big stick brought out.
Cross-border freight, corrective services, fire and emergency and abattoirs must get their first jab within 6 weeks and be fully vaxxed by the end of the year, while supermarket staff, hospitality, hardware, schools and banks must have had their first dose by the end of the year and their second by January 31, with many industries fearing workers will walk instead of getting jabbed.
There's potentially people will change jobs. There are people who will go and do other jobs because they don't want to be vaccinated. It's going to be difficult.
We've obviously got shortages of staff at the moment, so we really need everyone in the hospitality sector to get vaccinated now.
Schools in particular worried about how many classes will have to be cancelled, with some teachers likely to quit.
I hope there aren't, but if there is a small percentage, then that will translate into significant numbers not being available and they won't be able to be replaced.
The WA government is desperately hoping extending mandatory vaccination to 3/4 of the workforce will boost the state's lagging rates, which are the worst in the nation, and not lift our unemployment rate. The onus will be on bosses to make sure staff have proof of vaccination, with employers who don't keep a record facing fines of up to $100,000, while employees can be penalised up to $20,000.
The nature and size of that fine, it's a real concern. As I said, $100,000 could end a small business.
In a state of emergency, you've got to break glass.
Natalie Forrest for 10 News First.